Welcome to Two Guys and Mike podcast. I'm your host, Jason Thompson, coming to you from an undisclosed location in upstate New York. I really want to talk today about these drone sightings. This is absolutely incredible that our government has no clue what the hell's going on. I mean, we have drones flying in major cities, over presidential golf courses, over Air Force and Army bases, over military depots, and nobody seems to know what's going on. What is up with that? This makes no sense. To me, if I'm an enemy of the United States, I am noticing how weak and inept our capabilities are. This is unbelievable. Is this what the last 4 years have brought us down to? A military that can't seem to know who its enemy is, airspace that is unprotected, and people can fly unregulated stuff, or it's so nefarious that the government has something going on and they're not sharing it with anybody. They're not sharing it with the governors. They're not sharing it with representatives. They're not even sharing it with the president-elect. At least he's not saying. I've got some clips we're going to go through. I am working on myself tonight. My illustrious co-host, Michael, is unavailable today. But, we will power through it. This is what we do. This is how it works. I got my first clip. We're going to listen to Mr. Kirby from the Defense Department. And he's going to hold a briefing kind of explaining his take on these drones. And you guys can decide whether or not you think he's full of shit or just trying to give us what he wants us to hear.
John, on the drones, does the U.S. government have any of its own imagery or video of these systems?
I'm not aware that we have U.S. government
How does that not happen?
Imagery ourselves, but as I said in my opening statement, we have certainly done thorough analysis of the existing imagery.
So there's no new imagery, and we're going to go with existing imagery from when? From when? How can they say this? This makes no sense. The whole thing seems shady, and it only gets worse, guys. Only gets worse.
Cell phones that we're seeing. Basically, with what you're looking at, how can you credibly tell people that there is no public safety threat, there's no national security threat, that there's no reason to believe that a foreign government is involved?
Because the analysis thus far, in an investigation that is ongoing, has not revealed any national security or malicious intent or criminal activity.
So what he's saying here is, because I'm telling you so. Stop asking questions. This is the problem. We have a government today that doesn't want to be held accountable or be asked questions. This is pretty serious as far as I'm concerned. We have UAVs flying about. Nobody knows who they are, or so they're saying, and they're telling us not to ask.
But, Jackie, I would remind you, we're at the beginning here, not the end. There's a lot more work to be done, and we're working closely with state and local authorities to gain more information. I would argue that we're moving pretty well here with a sense of energy to try to figure out what we can do to learn more about this. We're still in the middle of an ongoing investigation, and I'm up here explaining to you and letting you know what we know so far, what we believe so far. If information comes to light that changes that characterization, then my goodness, we'll be the first ones to let you know. But right now, there's just no indication that this is some sort of foreign.
Spin doctor. This is what spin doctors do. This is like Baghdad Bob. There is no water going on in Baghdad. And here he is. Kirby. Spinning the truth.
Malign activity, or in fact even criminal.
Well, what I don't understand is, this has been happening since late November.
Yeah.
I don't know that the law enforcement officials or residents in New York and New Jersey, or even the Democratic senators who wrote to Director Ray Mayorkas and the FAA administrator today, would think that this has been handled with a sense of urgency. But that being said, has the President or the Secretary of Defense issued any guidance to NORTHCOM or military installations to act on these systems if they're deemed to be a threat in any way? And what's the benchmark for that determination?
So two thoughts. First of all, you're right, late November. It is now, the 12th of December, I think.
And this footage is a week old, and we still have no new evidence that the government can tell us that this isn't nefarious or it's one of our own or anything else. You keep seeing, people's videos and images of cell phones of these UAVs flying about, these drones, and nobody knows who they are. I don't understand. This makes no sense to me. Our government is out of control. Either they're willfully hiding anything in plain sight, or they really know nothing. Either way, it's bad.
It shows that we're moving on with this, and we're going to stay
move on.
on it. So
move along.
I want to disabuse you of any notion that we're not taking this seriously, because we are. I can also tell you that if the president, as commander-in-chief, believed...
Who is the president? Is it Joe Biden? Where's Kamala Harris? Neither of them have said anything on this stuff. It's laughable. Laughable.
Based on the information that he'd been given, that there was a national security threat at play here, or even a public safety threat at play here, he would issue the appropriate directives to...
He's too busy sleeping.
...to not only law enforcement, but perhaps even the military if that was needed. I want to go back to something I said at the top. There has been no evidence of any of this activity in or near restricted spaces.
This is the same administration that said there is no evidence that there is an invasion on the southern border. This is the same administration that said there is no evidence that we botched the Afghan withdrawal. This administration has lost any and all credibility as far as I'm concerned.
That's not what the senators said in the letter. They said, in fact, that they've been observed maneuvering their critical infrastructure, sensitive locations, including reservoirs and military installations, and cited a concern from law enforcement about public safety threats because a medevac helicopter was prevented from transporting a seriously injured patient for care because of the presence of these drones.
Gotcha,
Stand by
bitch.
my opening statement.
Can you make that make more sense? Because I think people in New York and New Jersey see drones the size of an SUV over their house every night and think that that doesn't make any sense.
Certainly I understand why people would be looking at this and being concerned about it. We're concerned about it too, which is why we have the Department of Homeland Security and the FBI, my goodness, looking at this. And we're taking it seriously. And we understand that people are concerned. We understand that they got questions. We got questions too.
Listen, if they had questions, they'd have the answer. Look at the way they went after the guy Luigi, that assassinated the CEO from United Healthcare. We knew everything about this guy within 3 days. Now we can't find a blessed thing out about these drones? Come on. Don't give me your shit. I mean, they're lying to our faces. This is what I don't understand. They must all think we're dumb. Totally dumb.
And we're working hard to get the answers to that. What I can tell you as we sit here today, at 2:16 in the afternoon on the 12th, is we haven't seen any indication thus far that there's a public safety risk, and we haven't seen...
The government know what they are.
So at what point? See, this goes back to this administration, the way they are reactive, not proactive. So they didn't see or didn't determine that the shooter in Butler posed an imminent threat until he shot the gun, until he fired at the president. So what's it going to take these drones? They don't see an imminent threat. What, until they do something bad? I mean, I can't fly my drone over a state police barracks without being flagged down. And these guys can fly drones. Somebody can fly drones over sensitive military bases and nobody does anything? Come on. Makes no sense. This makes zero sense.
We are still investigating this. I can't tell you definitively. I cannot characterize for you definitively what these sightings are. I can just go back to what I said at the opening. We've looked at the imagery. We can't corroborate some of the reported sightings through our own expert analysis using.
All right, I'm going to be done with this guy because he is an absolute buffoon as far as this goes. I mean, I don't know how much they really want to tell us. And I understand, maybe there is some sensitive stuff going on. Maybe it's a matter of not knowing exactly how much information they want to give us because it might scare. But in the absence of information, people are going to make things up. And maybe there is some of this. Maybe there is some aspect of there's a whole lot of conspiracy theories going on. But that's what happens when nobody says anything. Now we're going to have Mayorkas, who, I'm sorry, guys, this guy should have been impeached long ago, but the Republicans were too weak to do it, and the Democrats just, well, we all know what the Democrats think. So, but here he is talking about the same exact thing that Kirby pushing this agenda to trust, trust, trust.
In September of 2023, the Federal Aviation Administration, the FAA,
give us more power.
Changed the rules so that drones could fly at night. And that may be one of the reasons why now people are seeing more drones than they did before, especially from dawn
all of
to
a
dusk.
sudden.
And so that is the reality. But I want to assure the American public that we are on it.
They're on it. We're on it like we were on the border. We're on it like we were at the Butler assassination. We're on it. You're on nothing. The only thing you're on is your throne taking a shit.
Working in close coordination with state and local authorities.
That's a load of crap in itself, Mayorkas, because they're all asking for information. They're all saying, we want to know what's going on, and they're getting stonewalled or given nothing at all. So again, here's another one. Another one of Biden's spin doctors. You can never answer anything but feed your lines of crap.
And it is critical, as we all have said for a number of years, that we need from Congress additional authorities to address the drone situation. Our authorities currently are limited, and they are set to expire. We need them extended and expanded.
Well, again, this is exactly, what the Democrats' answer is to all this. Give us more power, give us more abilities to go after people and limit people's abilities to do anything else. Finally, somebody caught up with Donald Trump. And, he did shed a little bit of light onto this as far as maybe the government knows more than they're telling us. But he, too, also believes that they should be a lot more transparent and a lot more forthcoming with information because, again, with the lack of information and the lack of transparency comes black helicopter theories, a little bit of conspiracy, some nefarious stuff going on. I mean, there was everything from, getting information from bases to looking for a dirty bomb to trying to catch illegal. It's all over the place. It's everywhere. But the problem is when the government gives you nothing and the government tells you nothing, all you have left is to wonder. And this is what's going on here. And you'd think they would have learned their lesson the first million times they do this. So let's see what Donald Trump has to say here.
All the drones that are flying around New Jersey ports.
The government knows what is happening.
See?
Look, our military knows where they took off from. If it's a garage, they can go right into that garage. They know where it came from and where it went.
It's weird that he said that if it's a garage. I just thought that was an odd statement. I mean, is he trying to say this is out of somebody's house or out of... It's just weird. I thought that was odd. A garage. Why would he say garage? Weird.
Went. And for some reason, they don't want to comment. And I think they'd be better off saying what it is. Our military knows and our president knows.
And that says...
So, with that being said, we're back to square one. Although Trump must have been briefed. I get the impression he was briefed, but again, this is speculative. But being the president-elect coming into, office in less than 60 days, I would think, actually less than 30 days now, that he would be briefed on all this stuff. He's probably on a daily brief, daily, Black Ops stuff. But again, like he said, the administration should come forward and at least talk about what's going on, because in the absence of information comes the speculative stuff. So listen, in the comments below, let me know what you think. I'd love to have a discussion and talk more about it. I think that it's crazy. I think it's nuts that all this is happening in 2024, going into 2025, that we can't, figure out what's going on, and that the government seems okay with not giving us anything. Again, this is the closing of the book on the Biden administration that has been absolutely disastrous for our country, whether it be information, whether it be immigration, whether it be diplomacy, whether it be international policy, military, whatever. Just another example on how the Biden administration has just botched everything. Again, comment below. Please like and subscribe to our channel. We try to give you good content and things to make you think. Tune in on Fridays. We have New York Playmakers comes on, talks about Billy comes on and talks about everything New York sports related. On Thursdays, the great and the most powerful Phil Barrett on the Phil Barrett Show talks about all things local and state. Really good stuff. He's had some really good guests and people that have contributed to the show, including me, by the way. I'm on there too. So of course you want to tune in to talk to me and listen to me. But we're growing. We're looking for more people that want to join on. If you have an idea for a show, give us a shout. And as usual, till we meet again on the flip side. We were great, we were free, had a country that couldn't be beat. We were right